I attempted to sit up, but he stopped me with his gentle, reassuring hands. They pressed lightly into my shoulders and forced me to remain immobile. He spoke softly. His words tried to reason with my logic. The paramedics will want to check you out. That car hit your bike pretty badly. You'll need medical attention. He glanced briefly at the mangled metal frame and crushed rear tire. He frowned. The accident could have been so much worse. He then returned his attention to me. I can't believe they didn't stop to help you. How could someone leave you like that? His concern and sheer dismay registered the outrage he felt through a series of expressions that fleeted across his face. The damn animals! Please, I pleaded. No hospitals. They won't understand. I can't make them believe. This wasn't your fault. You're the victim here. Of course they will believe you. But I'm not. Stop talking, I warned myself. He won't get it. There is no way to explain who you are, what you are. He will never accept the truth. The young man stared down at me. He shook his head in bewilderment. I could see his worry growing. I winced as I felt the spiritual connection between the stranger and myself growing. I caught my breath and moaned as the union seemed to aggressively knot our souls together. A hot electrifying current zigzagged up and down my body. A painful tug at my heart caused me to gasp and reach for my chest. A stabbing sensation seemed to divide me in half. I opened my mouth and screamed. Through my torment, I could hear the man's heart beating erratically. His nostrils flared as he tried to take in more air. A distraught look of fear shot across his face. His body pitched forward in obvious distress. He also yelled out. A curse word escaped his lips before he clutched his chest. I watched in horror as his fingers began to claw at the area above his heart. His movements were frantic and animal-like. The agonizing pain distorted his once beautiful face. The stranger still remained upright, but it wasn't for long. He screamed and it increased in intensity, and then he suddenly collapsed on the sidewalk beside me. Was he having a heart attack? Was his body rejecting the soul tie? Was he dying? A tear trickled from my eye. It slowly ran the length of my face as a reality hit me. I was going to lose him. This bonding was too much for his mortal body. His flesh and spirit would not survive the transitioning. I heard the sirens getting closer. I saw more people approaching. Soon he and I would be surrounded by humans. On instinct, I reached for him. It was a struggle, but I eventually was able to grasp his hand. It was cool and rigid. It did not respond to my touch. I squeezed his fingers tightly. I clung to him. As I did so, I felt a burst of spiritual energy rush from my body. It was blinding and forceful. The invisible energy seemed to engulf our bodies. I stared at the stranger, and as I did so, his still figure began to fade. What was happening to him? Why was he disappearing before my eyes? Could I trust my vision? I glanced at my hand, and it too was fading. My fingers were becoming ghost-like in appearance. I was also disappearing. A fear sieged me as I felt my body begin to levitate. I panicked when I saw his body do the same, and we slowly ascended above the gathering crowd.